A very warm welcome to everyone present here today. It's a very cold morning here in Delhi, but on behalf of Grameen Foundation and the community of practice, I, Suparna Datta, a knowledge manager working for Grameen Foundation, am here to extend a very warm welcome to everybody who's present here. Those who have not joined us earlier for any of our sessions, so for them, let me just tell you, the community of practice is a knowledge platform as well as a community, and we keep on holding these kinds of learning and knowledge sessions from time to time. And we try to make it weekly, actually. And in these sessions, we basically talk about financial inclusion, but the part of financial inclusion which is in the context of the BC industry. So we actually do talk a lot about the challenges that are being faced by the BC industry and the various stakeholders in the BC industry, in the BC, in the entire ecosystem. And we try to, through our discussions and deliberations, we try to find mitigating strategies. So mitigating strategies which can be applied today, here, now, and also futuristically, because a lot of times, we talk about technologies like artificial intelligence and machine learning, which are developing but have not developed to that extent. But we also discuss like where would we like to see that technology and how we envision that kind of technology to come to our help in mitigating the problems and challenges faced by the various stakeholders in the BC ecosystem, which cannot be solved by the traditional or conventional methods. So that is the context for all the sessions that we hold. Um, the community of practice is basically it is a part of IDF, but especially being led by Innovations Project. And today's session is actually a topic where which is very close to the heart and of those in the BC ecosystem and many of the CXOs in related to or associated with the BC industry had actually requested that this should be our topic of the session. And this is a very special session because this is the season's last session using the Echo India platform, which is again a knowledge platform on which we share all these sessions. The topic for today is actually about the balancing the service quality and the scalability. So we know, and this is not only the topic which have which challenges only those working in the BC sector, but the entire business world basically. But how it actually affects and to what extent it affects the BC sector, the BC industry, and what kind of business model should be there, which can take care of the problems, how we can balance them. So not one, not a trade-off between service quality and the scalability, but if it is possible for us to achieve both service as well as the scalability. So that is our topic. We have a stalwart today present here, Mr. Yashwant Lodha. Welcome, sir. And Yashwant is the co-founder of Pay Nearby. He is a highly accomplished business leader. He possesses a strong acumen in developing new age products and technology for large-scale implementations. With an engineering degree from Manipal Institute of Technology and an MBA from NMIMS, Yash possesses a strong acumen in both technical and business disciplines. Previously, Mr. Lodha worked at Yes Bank as a product manager for digital payments and mobility. He managed UPI, IMPS, Switch, and domestic remittance platforms, and doing a throughput of more than, oh wow, $500 million in a year. Wow, it's a big amount. So, Yash, welcome again. Today's session is going to be moderated by Mr. Saurav Singh, who is a senior project manager with Grameen Foundation. And with this, and without wasting any more word, let me now pass on the microphone to Saurav Singh. Saurav, it's up to you now.
Yeah. Mute करो सब Hello everyone. This is Saurabh Singh. I'm a senior program manager at Grameen Foundation. I work under the IDF Innovation Digital Finance team. And so when I was going through Yash profile, so I a couple of things that I want to mention. Yash graduated in 2012 from Narsi Bonji, and he started Payoneer in 2016. So it's like after 4 years, he decided to delve into this entrepreneurship sort of world. So I will start from there. I'll start asking questions. Yash, what was your hypothesis of starting the Payoneer by? Because Payoneer by started in 2016 and currently they're doing, I think, 1 lakh crore transactions every year.
Yeah.
So this is a huge scale. Within like 8 years that Payoneer by you could have. So I just want to know what was going in the mind of Yash in 2016 that he decided to go from Yes Bank to starting Payoneer by a rural fintech in India, which was not at that time considered as a very lucrative and what do you call it, a very bling sector. So I want to start from you. What was the hypothesis of starting
I think
Payoneer
even
Bank?
today it is not considered a blingy sector still. Maybe that day will also come. But see, the hypothesis at that time, in 2016, was that Yes Bank, where I was working at that time, and my founder Anand and Subhash, three of us, we were associated with Yes Bank in various capacities. And at that time, the digital payments were just starting to take off, right? Wallets were a big name. Coming up to the, let's say, the top 5% of Indians at that time. Internet phones, smartphones penetration had just started. So smartphones were there, but internet penetration had just started meaningfully happening beyond the top few percentages. But we still saw that while internet penetration was increasing, the financial service penetration was not increasing so much, right? Phones were increasing, internet was increasing, but the insurance was still where it was. IMPS was still operated mainly out of mobile apps and net banking platforms. UPI anyway was just launched in April 2016. So we knew that we were of the opinion that the top end of financial services, whether it be transactions, savings and investments, whether it be security in the form of insurance, pension schemes, or credit, all the services that were already and fairly easily available to the top 5-7% of India should be available to the rest 95%. That was the broad thesis. And digitization growing at that time provided us an enabler that could help us achieve the three pillars on which we believe this 95% would have been covered, which is digitization, which is the sachetization, universalization. And right, digitization being the core medium of achieving viability of selling small ticket products, and universalization meaning it being as available as a bottle of mineral water or as available as a bottle of cold drink or packet of chips. If you look at core FMCG products, 3-4 things have helped, right? Smaller sachetizations, like Clinic introduced 1 rupee shampoo packets, and that was an innovation at that point in time. Deep distribution. Financial services suffer from a problem of, for example, banks have only 2 lakh odd branches and 2.5 lakh odd ATMs, and half those ATMs are present in the bank branches, right? So in a country with 6 lakh villages, the mathematics, there is no reach of financial services. If they are geographically in reach, the ticket size is not in reach. If the ticket size in reach, the understandability of the product is not there. So there's no mental reach available, right? So that was the broad thesis around which we, went out to bring the top end of financial services to the masses in a digitized format so that we can make it universal and sachetized. Over the last 8 years, right, what we've made significant progress. So while you call us, while we have received some scale, reached some scale, but this is a business where easily 1 or 2 zeros can be added at the end of it. Primarily because even today, it is 2024, right? While UPI has, everybody believes that UPI is universal, but the net number of UPI users in the country are only 300 million. There are WhatsApp users are 600 million. Even if you remove the old and the young, there's still easily 100, 200 million people to whom WhatsApp UPI can go. And I'm just taking the most common form of digital payments that has reached. If we start talking of insurances, pensions, savings, these numbers fall down to single digit penetration. So I'm happy that you believe that we've rescaled, but we believe that we have a long way to go on this broad thesis that we have embarked. I think even if I don't believe it's a one life's work. It will take some more time than that.
Thank you, Yash, for being so humble. Even you scale so much, you're saying, oh, it's a lot of work to be done. Because if you look at the numbers, they're humongous. Like a Payoneer has a channel of around 1.5 million. I might be off by a couple of so you can correct me on that. And you're doing a transaction of 1 lakh annually, 1 lakh crore annually. That's a huge volume. And now my next questions deep into these two numbers, if you can decipher this for me. How you did it, how you managed to scale Payoneer by from an idea stage in 2016 to like 1 lakh crore rupees transaction and 1.5 million agent, because that takes a lot of effort.
Yeah.
So
I will
initially
not be humble about that. It takes a lot of effort.
Convincing agent that you have a shop, hey, take a micro ATM or take a EPS service from us. Because the first thing, I started my career from Fino, so I know this. Said, no, I'm making enough money in my selling my whatever petty goods and all. So and it's look, I don't know only how to sell. Yeah, this is a very different business. I don't know what if fraud happen or customer is not happy. What will I do? Because I only know how to sell the sachet shampoo or maybe a Maggie packet. I don't know how to sell a financial services. So now for this question and this, so now we have two things: how you started, how you scale that up. Now I want to know your experience, how you scale that up. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of companies would have started around the same time or maybe before you, but nobody could achieve the scale that Payoneer has achieved. So if you can just give a template sort of thing, template, or maybe I shouldn't say like a cheat code, but some of learnings that these people aspiring, because you said the market is too big. So maybe somebody who just graduated, like think about Yash in 2016. If he has some idea, okay, if Yash can do that and Yash can do that, I can also do that, but he don't know how to do it. So how you scale Payoneer by? I want to know your experience from that angle.
So I think the first thing is you need to build a good team, right? And for me, my Anand and Subhash, right, the three of us, right, with Anand's guidance and Subhash's execution acumen and my technical skills, I think that's what helped us as a good starting point. The other thing, right, and a few other elements was that, like you said, first of all, we identified that the mechanism of getting these financial services is through assistance. We are not going to be able to give app to 10 million customers. Today, we cater to 10 million customers a month, went to about 50 million customers a year, approximately, are catered by us, and none of them have our app. So first of all, we decided that the mechanism was to go via assisted mode. Second, we also found out that assistance has to be given by someone they trust. A Saurabh or a Yash or a Suparna are not people, and pardon me, whom the rural average Indian trusts, because we don't look like them, we don't talk like them, we don't behave like them, we don't stay next to them. People who look like them, talk like them, behave like them, stay next to them are the local retail ecosystem who's already, transacting, with whom they're already transacting. There is a possibility that those local seller is already giving credit, an informal credit, khata jisko bolte hain, to that customer. That retailer is already recommending stuff. Ki acha, ye wala pen nahi hai, bhaiya, ye wala le jao, acha chalta hai. Right? So that trust referral is already there. Right? So leveraging that ecosystem. The third thing that the third lever was, because it was the first time that we're trying to get products to be sold. So imagine for this new customer, it's a new product, which is being sold through a new channel. right? So a new product sold to a new customer through a new channel. There were too many variables already in play, right? So what we decided to do was simplify the product to and our inspiration was recharges. How can we make money transfer or cash withdrawal as simple as mobile number dalo, amount dalo, ho gaya. So we worked with the banks, and the partner ecosystem was very, very, very supportive. I must say, like you said, what are the ingredients of success? You need to have good people, you need to have good partners. Partner ecosystem was very supportive in helping us devise the money transfer mechanism to be as simple as अपना number डालो, beneficiary का account number डालो, amount डालो और हो गया. You don't have to do a lot of that training. हम कैसे करेंगे? आप जैसे रिचार्ज करते हो वैसे करो, राइट? आप कैश विड्रॉल कैसे करोगे? अपना आधार नंबर डालो, अमाउंट डालो, अंगूठा लगाओ, हो गया, राइट? So that it has to be that simplified. So the training element was practically eliminated or minimized, right? And that is and the fourth thing, right? Team partners, simplification of the product, and the fourth thing was deep outreach. There is no simple way, there is no shortcut. You have to go and speak to the network, get them on board, right? Reach out to the masses. There is no simpler solution. We can find innovative models around it. Some part of it came digitally, right? With the penetration of Facebook and Google and those things growing, ads growing, we acquired about 20% of our networks came through digital leads, 22% of the network. The rest of it went to hardcore, on ground, visit, convincing, giving the app, doing the registration, getting the transaction started. As we moved along, right, introduction of more complex products like savings, insurances, right? The challenge and the battle that we fight consistently is how do we make them as simple as a recharge? Many of them do not end up being as simple, somewhere in between, simpler than the traditional construct, but not as simple as recharge, and the training element. And this is a cycle that is rinse, repeat. And that's how we're looking at solving for the new set of products. And one more thing for the future that we believe is a new set of sellers. Beyond the retailers, we believe the women ecosystem is something that we are a big believer of. That the women of the house can become financial service providers. We are on that journey. Let's see how that goes.
So yes, I think the four things that you said are very first, build a good team. If you want to have a successful startup, have a very clear business model. I like the concept. I like how you simplify your operations in the business. We want it to be as simple as a recharge. That's like a North Star for all the product and all your processes internally nearby, if I'm right. And third is simplify the product. Don't make it complex. Keep it simple. And then fourth, there is no replacement, and there is no shortcut. You have to go in the field, get your hands dirty. I like your example. You are pretty honest. Said only 22% of our leads come from digital. That's all we are your staff, and you guys go in the field and acquire the merchant. I think these are the four very good points. That so if anybody is facing like how to scale the business, I think these four are will be like a classic points that you have to that you should have in your idea to reach the scale what you guys have reached. So that was really insightful. I like think that it has to be as simple as a recharge. That's the best North Star in the product sense, if you can say. So anybody has any question on this? How Yash, and if anybody has any question on this, yeah.
Yash, yeah, sorry about that. We are a little technologically challenged at times here. So I have a question on the fact that you're talking about the simplification. We understand that business models which have run successfully actually, are simplified. So not only in the BC industry, but in the business world. That is what we have seen, and there are many examples. But at the same time, going with today's fad, we also talk about technologies, that what role will technology play. And when I'm talking about technology, it is not as simple as just digitization, right? I am talking about the use of artificial intelligence, machine learning. So there is a conscious uh, consensus among the business leaders, not only in this sector but in the other sectors as well, that if we do not use, if we have to keep up with the time. While simplification is good to start off and to take off, but when we have to sustain in the long run, we do have to take recourse to, higher technology. We have to integrate bigger technology, big concepts like, as I said, AI and ML. And some of these might actually replace some of the traditional way of, say, training, sensitization, awareness creation, not only for the urban folks, but also because, we are talking in Grameen, at least we talk about reaching to the last mile for the seller, reaching to the last mile for the customer, etc. So even for those who are in underserved and unbanked areas, we have to simplify the language of artificial intelligence and ML. So, how my question, therefore, is, that was a comment, but the question is, is it possible, or is it something too aspirational right now in the context of BC industry, that while yes, there is a digital divide, while we are thinking about artificial intelligence and machine learning, and there have been some innovative experimentations in the BC industry in incorporating these concepts into training, into sensitization, into the outreach to customers, to the BC agents. How many is it possible in the next 5 years, and how much can we scale up? Because scaling up is not only your service and your products, but also the technology that is associated with it. So my question is on scalability of the technology in the BC industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Swarna. See, number one, something that I want to put on the table from the get-go is that 5 years is a long time. Trust me, can it be done? Can localization of languages, handling English, handling half a sentence in English and half a sentence in Hindi, can it be done with AI? Some of it can be done today. Some of it will be done tomorrow. I don't think the question is if, the question is only when. Now, as regards implementation of AI or ML technology techniques in the BC ecosystem, right? See, a couple of things that what we do today, right? We are able to pass through in-app complaints that our retailers raise. Transaction ID de diya, and then they type whatever they type. Are we able to 100% pass through? No, we are not. But about 65 to 70% of the cases, we are able to get a broad sense of what they are looking at. It just reduces our turnaround time. Very soon, that time will come where a lot of these tickets will be responded to automatically. Had this been in perfect English language, we would have been able to respond to it automatically today itself. But it's just a matter of a little bit more time. AI also helps even today in doing cross-sell of products to certain cohorts of retailers, right? If Saurabh looks like me, behaves generally like me in terms of transaction patterns, is able to sell product in, I can also do it. Earlier, rule-based mechanisms always existed. AI has just made it sharper and made it better. To your point of can AI reduce or replace traditional methods of operations in terms of training. Training is something where I believe AI is the holy grail. AI generated content, or at least AI generated understanding, because it's mathematically near impossible in a low margin, 10 bip margin industry to generate such a vast variety of content. Shashi understands it in a different manner, Chitrangata understands in a different manner, Pritha understands in a different manner. किसी को हिंदी में चाहिए, किसी को तमिल में चाहिए, किसी को हिंदी and Tamil में चाहिए. Somebody needs an example of their local life, so on and so forth. So this will become more and more critical. I don't think there's an exact solved working model today, but it'll take a matter of a year or two before people are able to pin it down that broadly something like this skill one for training. Again, not to say that it'll solve 100% of training. Look at it from an 80-20 problem. 80% will be solved, 20% of it can move to a human assisted manner.
So
I
I think
hope I was able to
that
answer.
was really good thing. I think you are able to answer. Touch and technology is the way to go. We will love to go more to a technology side, but currently touch is something which works more. So technology, that's you are saying that I think you pointed out that it picks the certain part of it fills the gap in the larger puzzle. Only couple right now, maybe once we have better models might be larger, and then you focus in the really important part. It's 10 bips business.
So the only thing is that we may not, and BCs in general may not have the luxury of waiting for it to evolve and then investing in it.
Yes, that
You
makes
will
sense.
have to be a
So
part of that evolution, is my view.
yeah. So I think so now we talked about how you scale. Now I'm coming to the very important part. So we are saying that what is the definition of quality for a for a customer at a BC agent? If you have to define the quality at the point of the transaction and how you define quality for the BC channel.
Okay, so there are two key elements that we should look at, right? While quality is generally always looked at from the perspective of the end customer, right?
Mm-hmm.
But BC being a truly assisted model, right? One of the key stakeholders or consumer of the platform is the agent himself, right? And the quality metrics for quality perception, what qualifies as quality service is different for both of these people. The end customer has only and only two metrics. A, the transaction should be successful. A failed transaction for whatever reason is bad service. If at all there is a failure, right, I should be able to go to my agent and the agent should be able to resolve my query.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's it. For the end customer, there is nothing beyond this.
Okay.
मैं गया सक्सेस होना चाहिए, सक्सेस नहीं हुआ तो मेरा रिटेलर मेरे को इतने टाइम के अंदर सॉल्व करके दे पाना चाहिए, वो जितना टाइम बोले उसके अंदर उसका होना चाहिए. That's it. There's no other.
I think that's the most concise definition. If customer walks, he or she should be able to do the transaction.
जिस पर्पस के लिए आया था, that should get done.
Right? That should be. I think that's the very good.
So now from the
yes,
agent perspective, right? Yeah. From the agent perspective, quality can mean multiple things, right? Mm-hmm. Quality can mean, do I have a connect with the corporate VC? Do I have regular visit / televisit / phone / engagement? Does the app work smoothly, right? That 4-second extra delay is bad service for the retailer, but is not necessarily a bad service for the customer, right? Is the company ever breaching TAT, right? And at some time, some of these expectations can even mean go to a level of, okay, I made a mistake, but you can solve it, right? You should be able to solve it, right? So for a BC agent, quality to my mind means two things. Service down na ho, so that the customer, whoever walks in, I should be able to service that customer. Two, if I have a problem and I need to answer to my customer, right? You should have the answer to that customer for me so that I can answer to my customer. And third, maintain engagement with me. Three metrics from my perspective.
Okay, so I think these are the very clear metrics that you said. For customer, it's the success of the transaction is the ultimate. That he or she only cares about whether I went to the point, whether my transaction is successful, but there are more contouring towards the agent side. Platform should work, and if there is BCNM should have you should also the BC the partner should have larger, obviously connect with more banks so that transaction goes off. And then apps is always working, and those 4 seconds that you talked about, because he can do another transaction or do some other work. So for him, efficiency at the BC is important. And then, of course, grievance redressal. If you promise you will solve it in 4 days, whether you are able to do that or not. I think these are the very good points to decipher the definition of quality for this customer. Now, from your experience, how you manage this metrics from into the Pay Nearby channel of 1.5 million 1.5 million merchants around and 50 million customers. So how you did it? So I want to say, let's break this thing in two parts. First, I would say, has the massive expansion led to the decrease in service, or I just want to know your take on scale versus quality. That is the first part of the where I want your answer, and second is how you managed it across. So is there any decrease in service quality if you scale up, and then of course you guys are doing Pay Nearby is doing really great. So how you manage that? So these are the two questions. There's two parts question
So let
to
me
you.
first pick up the question on, has the scale led to decrease in quality, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think scale leads to decrease in quality if the processes and enabling systems do not evolve with scale.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that scale equal to lower quality is a axiom that is always true. It is only true if the enablers do not evolve with time. Okay. So for example, right, as scale evolves. So for example, let's say we have 1,000 retailers. We have 10 people at the call center, right? Broadly, every call will be attended to. There will be zero abandons. Okay. But as the scale from 1,000 becomes 10,000 and 1 lakh and 10 lakh and so on and so forth, the technology has to start working in a manner that errors keep coming down. Those errors should not come in the first place. That's number one, right? Number two, what we started doing is we started, अगर 1,000 लोगों में 6 लोगों का call center था, which is 5 people were the call center size when we were 1,000 active retailers. Today, it's not 5,000. While we have added 3 zeros to the active retailer base, we have not made it 5,000. We still have about 70 odd people in the call center, just to give you a context, right? However, the process has evolved. We have built a very strong in-app grievance raising mechanism, right? So we did not scale for quality so that you as a retailer can raise grievance with one click for 70 to 74% of the cases, 72 to 74%. One click. We don't ask you for transaction ID. We don't ask you to drop downs, enter remarks. Kuch nahi, one click. Auto take the screenshot of the error. One click, raise complaint, chapter closed. Right? Again, my process has evolved to make grievance easier. Then graded support mechanism. Some tickets that can be reverted quickly. Some tickets that can revert a bit later. An auto response will go that this ticket you will get a response within, let's say, 4 hours, or let's say 24 hours. So some of these processes have evolved for you as a retailer to be more informed about what is happening and therefore having less anxiety about the service. This is how processes have evolved. On the other side, how technology has evolved is we have a repeat mechanism of reviewing errors. Errors not necessarily reported by anyone. Errors that we receive, a strong logging mechanism, a strong dashboarding mechanism, and a strong support team whose regular KRAs तुमने कितने problems fix करवाए, तुमने कितने error messages modify कराए, so on, कितने processes simplify कराए. These two things put together, right? And these are just two mechanisms of how process has to evolve and how technology has to evolve for the service to not necessarily fall down because of scale. Can we do better? Yes, we can do better, right? But I wouldn't say that because we have scaled out 1,000 times, our service has gone down to even, let's say, 95% quality. There are many more broad areas that look like this.
Yeah, so yes, I think you you put it very well that only scaling up without the support and investment in process and technology. Maybe if you're scaling up, you should have substantial focus and change your processes to match the service quality. Okay. So now, how you manage to scale? So I think is that what you did, or you want to? If is there anything else you want to add to how you manage that?
So I think, like I said, right, genuine outreach, simplified product, uh, uh, developing a deeper understanding of the market, right? Constant understanding of the market, constant feedback. And I think first and foremost, a desire to scale. Like I said, 1 lakh crore के आगे 2 zero तो लग ही सकता है.
Hmm.
First, you have to want it for it to actually happen at some point in time, right? Complacency is not a friend of scaling. So the desire and the broad idea that investment in technology and processes is essential, but that does not mean that the actual grit groundwork can be replaced by technology. I think it's always going to be a mixture. That's the broad principle of scaling, to my mind.
Yeah. So now we have a couple of other leaders from other BCNM also in the audience. So if they have any question to Yash, I can see Sashi here. And yeah, anybody have any question to Yash so far? Please introduce yourself. Anyone. I'm just please ask the questions. Okay. So Yash, now my last my question is, the UPI and overall ecosystem in fintech, government has a huge role to play. We all are private player, but we all are built on a government rails. So when you were starting Payoneer with Mr. Bajaj and the other team members, uh, the system was evolving. There must be I assume there are a lot of glitches back then. Uh, and you would have faced a lot of flack for that. But has the system improved over a period of time? I just want to know your sense.
Most definitely, yes. I mean, the answer is a resounding yes. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You look at AEPS of 2016 and the AEPS, let's say from 2019 also, right? And the AEPS today, the error rates have fallen by an order of magnitude, not by a percentage, right?
Mm-hmm.
The success rates, the uptimes, the UPI uptimes, for example, the Aadhaar authentication, right? The things that were slower. So I think with time, the government has invested in technology. Ecosystem has also demanded upgrades, and all stakeholders put together, and the advent of new age technologists, TSPs, right? All of these players put together have said that technology has to improve, because technology, amongst other things, like for example, DPIs, right? Whether you take the availability of PAN validation or Aadhaar authentication, or you take DPI data sets available via AAs, and then in the future through data consent managers, right? The cost of doing business, right? The cost of errors, the cost of a straight through transaction has become so less that you can invest in technology, and the payment and the technology will pay back for itself over a period of time. It may not independently pay back, but as an ecosystem, if people invest, right, the technology most definitely will pay back over a period of time. And we can speak for DPI.
Yeah. So now picking on your points in DPI, I had a very interesting take on this. So government is initially they started with establishing identity, then they opened the account, and now they are registering the citizens on different platform. Like I was surprised to see the use case of DPI, the house help that is at our place, and she in my parents' place, she was 70-year-old. She automatically got a notification that okay, you are eligible for this old age treatment, 70 years plus, and she doesn't have to pay a single dime as a bribe or anything. She just went to the center, register herself, and now she has a health coverage. So is that so? Now I'm seeing a lot of DPIs talking to each other in the sense like how you see. So the government is coming with AgriStack and all. Will these DPI what government is creating for different sector, can they be converged through BC? Because BC is there in the village. assisted mode is going to stay. It's not that the house help at her place would have directly got a notification message and she would be able to go and do it. She needs someone to do it. So do you see the larger convergence of these DPIs towards through the BC channel?
So let me put it this way, right? When was the last time you went and asked for assistance? Right? When did you go to a bank? Maybe for a home loan, if that, right?
Yes.
Right? But so DPIs generally, right? What does technology do? Technology can make the straight through process very easy. Now, if you look at it, you have access and understanding of using that technology of that mobile banking app or of a lending app or of a transacting app so that you can do all of this yourself. Till such time as the ecosystem or the populace of India can do everything by self, right? Assistance will be needed. And the BC network is almost omnipresent. जहां आंख उठा कर देखोगे किसी ना किसी का, हमारा शशि सर का, किसी ना किसी का कोई ना कोई मिल ही जाएगा, right? Shashi sir has been a pioneer of the industry, right? They salute him. People like Shashi, people like us, people like some of our other competitors, right? Somebody or the other is present. If it is not present today, in the next year or two, they will be present. That's our single point agenda, right? Universal coverage of BC systems. Now, the technology can make the straight through transaction happen. The technologies exist, but getting a Katyayani to know that it came, right? Getting that, now that you know where does Katyayani go for help, she can go to some of these governments. I'm taking Katyayani's example because the name comes up right front on my screen. But you can go to a government office, which again suffers from the same problem that bank branches have. They don't exist enough. How many block development, how many agri offices, how many block offices, how many, and the panchayats that exist, right? They are not technologically, they were never designed to solve for health and education and agri and finance, everything put together. They are administrative ecosystems, which now imagine if you could, enhance the capability of the administrative ecosystem. चाहे पंचायत लेवल पे हो, चाहे ब्लॉक लेवल पे हो, चाहे सर्कल लेवल पे हो, with BCs who can act as assistance points. जैसे बैंकों को BCs, like banking was enhanced to BCs. What if BCs also became agri correspondents and health correspondents and education correspondents, so on and so forth, and they can enhance government service delivery with technology again being delivered, again the digitization, BC is driving the universalization, and the sachetization being driven by the partners. I think it's the same template, right? That's the broad view. That's my view.
Yes. Even that's something everybody talks about, that. Okay, that the customer who is coming to the BC point is also a farmer, also need health services, plus he or she just coming for the transaction. Why can't the same point can deliver more and more services and take the load of the government bureaucracy, government delivery through this assisted mode? So now I think anybody has any question to Yash, we would love to hear from those. So
Shashi sir and Dr. Subarna.
Yes. And we'll go with Shashi first, huh? Yeah. Thank you.
Hey guys, sorry, you've been taking my name a lot, so I thought I should I should at least say hello. Thanks, Yash. Very insightful conversation. So one question I keep grappling with and perhaps challenging many of my peers is that just because there is this human touch created, there is an agent out there who is, transactional service is a bit more intuitive than any other product selling, right? That needs a bit more, rather depends on the complexity of the product. You need a lot more understanding, not only of the product, but also of the customer needs, and then match the two and then make the transaction happen or the sale happen. So in that context, what do you really think is the balance, right? What all can really this agent sell? I mean, it's easy to think that चलो एजेंट है तो सब बिकवा देते हैं, right? It's not that. It's not like that. You can't sell a health product and a financial product and an education product on the same platform, and with the same person, with the same level of intellect. So I'm just trying to understand what did you see? You guys sell a lot of different products, right? On this huge network that you created. What is the realistic expectation of this agent, quote unquote agent, a typical VC agent, so that we all build a model based on the realism, not ऐसा है कि we can sell everything and anything.
So thank you, sir. So, sir, we have also, seen that one agent is not a panacea, right? While the banking industry and generally the BC ecosystem started by thinking that one agent can solve each and every problem, but what you're saying is absolutely right. One agent will not be able to do everything. The question is, so what we have seen is for one agent doing one or two simple products like an AEPS recharge kind of a thing, and one or two complex products. Now you can call that complex product an insurance or a mutual fund or a loan. Simple loan lead generation, I'm not calling as a more complex product, but full-fledged, more documentation heavy process, right? And assisted commerce, for example, we have been piloting with some of the agents, right? What we have seen is not everybody picks it up, but the ones who pick it up well. So my long-term view is that each agent can be taught 3 to 5 products, 2-3 of them simple, 1-2 of them complex. But Shashi may pick up 2 different products and Yash may pick up 2 different products, right? Shashi may feel that health works for me. I may feel that agri works for me. And that's how it will eventually play out. So how I would like to put it is one BC agent will not solve. BC agents put together will become a union of BC agent will cover broadly the services. The biggest problem in this, and this is something which we will have to solve over a period of time, is to identify if Shashi will pick up health and Yash can pick up agri, and therefore train Shashi on agri health and Yash on agri, and not the other way around and lose the interest of that person altogether. That is the one core problem that people will have to solve for. Agri stack, these more complicated agri DPIs will not become as simple as recharges, unfortunately, right? So at least not in the near term. I will never say never, but and I'm also of the view that the matching element may have to be eliminated from the person, and that should be solved by the technology. The agent need not know what is the need of what is the product that this customer will need. The agent has to feed the need into the system, and the system has to tell that this is the suitable offering for the customer. I think that is one thing. So that matching element has to go away. This is my 2 bits on it, on how it will play out over a period of time. The training piece, the identification of who wants to do what, and therefore doing that handholding is going to be the key piece. The one who solves for this will be the holy grail. The one who solves for it can reach heaven very, very quickly.
Thank you. That's quite helpful. Thank you for the response.
Thank you, sir.
That was very insightful, actually. So I have raised my hand because I want to ask a question. I want to ask 2 questions and then like club them into one. One question is related to gender, and the second question is related to data and the evidence from the field. So you just mentioned, Yash, something about the identification, clusterification, and who wants to sell what, etc., and not making it oversimplified, while simplification of the process and products are required for maintaining a balance between scale and service quality. What I know that Pay Nearby has done a lot of innovative solutions, bundling of products, and innovative designing of products, keeping women in mind, right? So Jayatri Dasgupta is not present here today, but I know like how she has been leading Digital Nari, and she has been a speaker in many of my forums. So I know exactly where her program is leading and how well you're running that. So And then the question of data, when it comes, that, very often this also comes up, that we do have the data, but we don't have the gender disaggregated data. And many of the times, so that might not apply to Pay Nearby, but in many of in the ecosystem, the gender disaggregated data is not there. So on one side, we are saying that we have we are focusing on gender, and we want more BC agents, more women BC agents to be successful and accomplish and earn as much and grow as much as their male counterparts. And also we are saying that there should be more and more women customers who go to these BC points and they avail of various services. But at the same time, we see that the kind of data that is needed coming from the field, that will help us make decisions, evidence-based decision, that is very often missing. So when we talk about service quality and we talk about balancing the service quality and the scalability. So the question of data, getting accurate data, getting disaggregated data also comes in. So how, generically speaking, so how can we balance this, that we cater to not only to the marginalized population, but particularly keeping in mind the rural women and the women from the marginalized segments. And we also ensure that we have gender disaggregated data, so that while the ecosystem is getting benefited, women are the special focus, and we do not lose our focus from them. So how do you suggest that the ecosystem or other BCNMs should go about it in resolving this?
So maybe I'll take it up in a couple of parts, right? One is that one is why have we been focusing on getting women as BC agents, right? And we now have about 150,000 women spread across the country as BC agents doing some transaction or the other, right? Fundamentally, two things. A, they are good at managing money. B, other women trust women more easily. Other women can approach women more easily, especially in deep rural settings. While urban India may not have such misgivings anymore, but rural India still suffers from such misgivings, at least in some places, right? So that's two parts, right? The third is designing products that support women requirements, right? So, for example, the Digital Nari program fully has been conceptualized in partnership with RBI Hub, the RBI Innovation Hub. So, and the RBI Innovation Hub led a very deep research into women cohorts to work and design products around goal-based savings, around frictionless investments, and over a period of time, frictionless credit, right? Which is what the women want. That's come out very, very clearly in their on-ground engagements. So while today, technologically now, coming to the gender disaggregated data at transaction level, fundamentally as an organization, right, we are of the opinion that we should not ask for data that is not required for the transaction. So most of the banking services, or for that matter, at least for the banking services, transaction services, do not require gender disaggregated data, because the service recharge or money transfer or a cash withdrawal is the same for you, and the same for a woman and the same for a man, or the same for the third gender for that example. But some of the more complicated products like an account or a insurance or a mutual fund anyway have gender requirement as part of the transaction flow itself. So that's one way of getting data. So if I look at how can we keep women at focus of it, if women customers need to be kept at focus of it, in today's world, making women as BC agents and making them as points of transaction for other women customers to reach out easily in itself is one way of driving women inclusion. Second, the on-ground engagements by, for example, I mean, you guys do such a fabulous job at on-ground engagements to drive consumer understanding, RBI Hub and so many other organizations. That's the other way of looking at it. Third is some of the more complicated products, and partners, right? So banks, insurers, mutual funds, they have a lot of gender disaggregated data, which need not be taken by intermediaries like us. So I think a lot of this engagement will need to happen at the financial institution level as opposed to the intermediary level, where the product design can happen, which is with the women or the third gender kept in mind, or an elderly or a young person kept in mind, as opposed to the product already being designed and then being distributed to different specific cohorts. I hope I was able to explain what I'm saying. I'm of the opinion that getting extra data from people, which is not required for the transaction, is something that should be avoided generally as a good practice.
Thank you. Thank you, Yash, for I think we've run out of time also. So it was really nice speaking to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So we'll be I think it was really nice speaking to you, and the way the insights that we generated from your experience and how you scaled up PayNearby, and what's the definition of quality and all those things, and how you balance quality with the with the scale if you make right investment in processes and product. So I think they were the really good insight. We will the team will be sharing you the written sort of transcript and the insights what we generated from this to all the members. So I would like to invite Suparna to give a closing remark on this.
Thank you, Sarah. That was wonderful and very insightful. Thank you, Yash and Sarah, because of such a wonderful and engaging session. I would also like to thank Arpit and Shiva for coordinating at the last moment with me and getting this done. So the success of today's session is not only on us, it is also a lot on the PayNearby team. So before we end, as I said, that just to remind, many of us have joined new here. So this session or these sessions are organized by Community of Practice initiative under the Innovations Project. And on these platforms, we discuss, or we will keep on discussing and deliberating on various challenges and hurdles that the BC ecosystem faces, and we will try to come out with mitigation strategies. So before we end, I think we have this mandatory, customary picture to be taken. Yes, and happy festivities to everybody. Season's greetings. Those of you who happy holidays. We are going to be on holidays from 20th onwards, which is today. And with that, let's just take the pictures and close the session. Thank you once again to everybody.
So everyone present, please switch on your cameras. Are all of us here? All right, so we're gonna go. Okay, no, we're still waiting. Okay. If we're all here, then 3, 2, 1, say cheese. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.